Welcome, everyone. This is Will Crockett here in Chicago at the ShootSmarter.com Universal Headquarters. And today we're going to investigate, is today the birth of hybrid imaging? I'm a commercial photographer and I enjoy blending still photo with video and audio in order to make images that have impact and movement more than a single video or a single photo will. I'm struggling with DSLRs and HDSLRs with their ability or inability, in fact, to shoot photo, video, and to make that process simpler, because as a photographer, I want to be able to create that hybrid image whenever and wherever I feel its most impact. Meaning I want to set up a shot and I want to decide, am I going to push the shutter button to click a still photo, or am I going to hit the video button and record HD video? And I want to go back and forth between those two. That's really a hardship for me with DSLR. So over the last year and a half, I've discovered mirrorless cameras. And even though the ones that we've tested and have presented on discovermirrorless.com are really not ready to replace the Nikon and the Canon Pro DSLRs when it comes to hybrid imaging, we're getting very close. Those of you that follow my writing on ShootSmarter.com know that we test a lot of equipment, and we're known as a rather trusted resource for, is this product right for me, or should I hold off on this product? Well, the mirrorless cameras, the mirrorless lenses, the continuous lighting, by the way, that goes with these cameras have evolved rather quickly. I'm told by some rather trusted resources that the new breed of hybrid cameras, these new mirrorless cameras, and the new lighting systems for mirrorless cameras that offer continuous light that works not only for still photos but works for video, is ready for prime time. And frankly, I'm skeptical. The reason we're doing this event and doing this event live is to share with you when I'm learning at the same time. Those of you that are into some of the rumor stuff on the internet know that Panasonic, for the first time, is getting into the professional photography universe. They're releasing a new camera, interchangeable lenses, micro four thirds mount, that's called the GH3. And it's supposed to be the replacement to your Nikon D800, your Canon 5D Mark III. Is it? Well, those are pretty big shoes to fit inside. Plus, what about lighting? There is no flash that works for video. So folks like me who are so used to using TTL flash on camera and off camera, when it comes to shooting video, we've got a big problem. I need to have a camera that doesn't get in the way when I want to shoot hybrid, meaning photo or video or both, and I want lighting that doesn't put restrictions on my creative scope. Today with us, we've got from the Panasonic headquarters in Secaucus, New York, New Jersey, one of those, is Darin Pepple and Dean Delserro.
Hey guys.
Good morning, Will.
Also, we have my good friend Will Holowka from Manfrotto Imaging. Will, say hi. It's okay, I'll say hi for him. Hello,
oh,
Will.
Sorry about that. Hello again.
Also, too, with me on our side of this debate is Frederick Van Johnson and Giulio Sciorio that you'll see at the bottom. We will welcome them in with questions as we go along. First up, I would like to direct a question to the team Panasonic. Dean, Darin, what kind of photographer is the GH3 designed for?
Well, we like to refer to it as a hybrid photographer, and Will, you're kind of an example of that. You're moving into the video stream. And for most photographers that are still photography based, it's a daunting task to suddenly pick up their SLR and start shooting video. And for that purposes, one of that purposes that the G series was created was to lead that direction in the future. And what GH3 is doing for it right now is trying to create a best-in-class, easy-to-use solution rather than something that is perhaps from the days of film cameras and we just kind of shoehorn in the creativity and the ability to shoot video into it. We created G series from the ground up for the hybrid photographer.
And we joke around, in fact, Darin, we say that DSLRs, in fact, are the current mutation of cameras, right? Those started off as still cameras, and then we adapted them into digital, and now we're adopting them into video. Well, I think it might be time to retire that entire design, get rid of that mirror, because that basic design change, even though it sounds like it's more marketing hype than anything else, it's not. When we get rid of that mirror, a lot of technology is able to happen. Dean, give me some highlights on the GH3 as far as new technology.
So some of the more exciting features are obviously an updated sensor. It's a 3-core processor now on the sensor. In addition, we've added a lot of creative controls. So within the video as well as still modes, you have the ability to add creative filters, things like one-point color, which is a very dramatic effect. The new camera has a lot of great new accessories, whether it be a extra battery grip, things like a new flash or a stereo microphone that are coming out. We're excited to introduce this as a more rugged solution than things we've had in the past. So it'll have splash proof and dust proof for both the body and the 2 new lenses that we've recently introduced along with it. So it's certainly an evolution and a step up into the pro space for us. With
Dean, we've hosted a conversation on the DP Review Micro Four Thirds forum, and I was trying to poll that rather large and vocal group, as you know, to see what is of interest of them. And I know that you touched on flash. Is there wireless flash capability with the GH3, and can I use wireless TTL flash systems?
Yeah, so we'll have wireless flash capabilities in the camera. We're going to be introducing a new wireless capable flash later this quarter. And will also be compatible with third-party wireless systems such as Olympus and others.
Terrific, terrific. Why would a photographer who's already got a Micro Four Thirds camera, or even mirrorless camera for that matter, why would they want to sell their Sony or their Olympus and move over to a GH3?
Well, if you have an existing, like did you say, existing mirrorless technology, you know, the mirrorless technology, we started the first one in 2008, which, you know, it's not that long ago. But the technology is being developed so quickly, and we've been able to listen to the market in that period of time and sort of bring to life those things that people are asking for. But mostly it really kind of comes down to creativity. Well, you know, we've gone back a long way in the professional world, and creativity with film required scanning, or you had to do it in the camera. You had to get the shot in the camera was sort of the hallmark. And then when digital came along, it's like, well, you don't necessarily need to get in the camera. We can do some pretty cool things in Photoshop. Now with this sort of third generation, let's look at it like that, you can do the work in the camera. So with most professionals, as you're working in the field, you know that if you're not in the field and you're sitting back home doing Photoshop or some other technique, that you're not making money. So get the shot in the camera, we're back to that.
It's music to my ears, Darin. I've been talking to photographers all the time, particularly ones who struggle with shooting video on their DSLRs. A lot of the problem is that they don't have the skill and the control on their DSLRs to shoot proper exposure and proper white balance and adjust their contrast when they shoot video, because there's obviously no raw functionality in the mainstream of video. That means we're going back to more camera skills and being creative in the camera, which is one of the reasons why I like mirrorless. It saves a lot of post-processing time. Part of that reduction in post-processing time comes from lighting, whether photo or video, which is why I've been drawn to LED lights. On the other side of the globe, we have Will Holowka, who is the product manager for Manfrotto's LED light line. Now, I do want, in full disclosure, I do want to let you know that I have not gotten my hands on a GH3 yet, but I have gotten my hands on the LED lights. Will was kind enough a couple of weeks ago to send the entire line over for us to look at, and I find them very interesting. They're shoe-mounted, well, cold shoe, not hot shoe, shoe-mounted LED lights that are going to allow us to create in the camera on the fly, both photo and video. The unusual part is some of these LED lights that are in the line have both an LED continuous light output and they have a flash in them. Will, would you please tell us how, as photographers and videographers, we're supposed to use a hybrid LED plus flash product?
The great thing about the hybrid LEDs is they allow you, as you said, to have the continuous light with the flash. So say, for instance, if we needed to do a frame grab when we are on a location, we can then turn it in flash mode and do a quick frame grab, and it'll give us a nice quality of light as a flash would for working as a still photographer. In video mode, of course, it's continuous. So the nice thing is, excuse me, the LEDs produce a very nice directional light, and at the same time, you can adjust the lights up and down. So then that way you can determine the amount of light that you need for your subject. Some people prefer that because this way they can see actually where the light's going to fall. Whereas a flash, you have to pretty much guess or try to figure out where the light's going to go.
You know, I noticed that the way to connect this LED light source, hybrid one with the flash built in it, to the camera is not through the hot shoe. I notice it does use a PC sync cord that goes from the bottom of the LED into the PC port or a PC port on your camera. How do you adjust that flash output in relationship to the LED?
In this particular case, we're not doing anything with TTL or anything like that. So all you need to do is plug the sync cord into the bottom of the light that takes it, and there's only a couple models in our portfolio that do take the flash synchronization, and then you plug it into your sync area of your camera. If you do it that way, then again, basically you're working with your same exposure that you would use on video. You may want to close it down an extra stop because it's roughly 2 stops more power, so you may want to close it down an extra stop to gauge it at the beginning, and then take your initial test shot and see if you're happy with the flash exposure.
Will, I can tell you it's really a terrific product line, and I'm looking forward to exploring it much, much more with you. And terrific info. The ShootSmarter.com folks are asking us through our Facebook page how these lights are going to be affecting their immediate future. And they're using the word called replacement, and I'm not quite sure that's the way to go. But let me pitch that this way to Team Lumix. Dean and Darin, do you think that the GH3 really is the camera that will replace a professional photographer's D800 or Canon 5D Mark III?
Well, we hope so.
So, you know, I think realistically, if they've got one today and they're more photocentric, I think it's a tougher argument to.
We've lost Dean's audio, by the way. Dean, can you hop over to Darin's mic and share a microphone?
Yeah, sure. So I'm sorry. I think it really depends on what they're out to do. So if they've already got one of those devices in place and they're more photocentric, it's a harder argument. If they're really looking to make the jump to video, we think a tool like a GH3 is really required. And it's just a matter of if they want to use it as a supplemental tool in addition to what they have today, or fully transition to that new product line and that new technology.
I agree, by the way, Dean. I think the whole idea of covering an event, for me, it would be a corporate event, but I see my wedding photographer friends struggle with a phrase that's been dubbed fusion, and blending video with still photo with a DSLR or HDSLR is extremely difficult. On that topic of replacement, I do notice that Lumix has surfaced 2 brand new pro lenses, and they are a 12 to 35 millimeter constant aperture f2.8, as well as a 35 to 100 millimeter constant aperture 2.8. They're expensive. They have premium optics, but when we translate those focal length zooms into a full size, we say, DSLR, that's the equivalent of the 24 to 75 f2.8 Nikon or Canon series line. And it's also, that longer zoom is the equivalent of the 70 to 200 f2.8 zoom that most pros count on every day as their portrait lens. It looks like these are the 2 lenses that will match with the GH3 and allow us to move forward in hybrid. Are these 2 new zoom lenses really up optical quality to put them side by side with the Nikon and Canon premium zooms?
Yeah, we absolutely believe so, and that's really what we're targeting. We think as a package or a bundle, if you get the GH3 and these 2 new lens options, it's really a complete kit for anybody that's really looking to do a lot of multimedia photography, I guess is a new phrase we've started to use. We've had a long-standing development relationship and co-manufacturing relationship with Leica. So, we're used to making extremely high-quality lenses, so we understand the technologies. In addition, we've already talked about them being water and dust resistant or splash-proof. So we think they're going to be highly durable to allow the professional to take them virtually anywhere with them.
Well, one of the parts that I find very intriguing is the price value level. If you are a college kid and you're just getting out and you decide you want to be a professional photographer, if you're going to move into a high-end Canon or Nikon and add the high-end glass that you need to be competitive in this type of marketplace, you're talking about a lot of money. You can save, between 50%, maybe a little bit less, by going with something like a GH3 and these new Pro zooms. Can you give us a little rundown on price points? What's the price of the GH3 body? Roughly what you're going to do as far as kits. Give me a price on the 12 to 35 and the 35 to 100 zoom, and then we'll scoot over to Will and get LED pricing.
Yeah, sure. So the GH3 body is introduced at $12.99 MSRP. The 12 to 35 lens has been out for a little bit now, and that's also at $12.99. And then the new 35 to 100 will be released at $14.99. You'll expect to see, as they begin shipping, some promotional activity to give you some discounts when you buy them all together at once. We actually will not be offering a pre-bundled kit, so we're going to give the photographers the option or the choice to pick what they want as far as lens combinations. Because in addition to those two lenses, we also have about 15 other lenses that give them a lot of flexibility, from 8mm fisheyes to even longer zoom telephoto. So we think that's a nice complement to the GH3 that we have today.
Well, Dean, as a rather experienced mirrorless camera photographer myself, one of the reasons I do like Lumix cameras as well as Olympus cameras is because they've chosen the micro 4/3 lens mount. That means that I can use an Olympus micro 4/3 lens on my Lumix camera and vice versa. If you combine those two lines, the Olympus line as well as Lumix line, you've got a handful, in my opinion only, you've got 10, maybe 12 lenses that are magnificent pro, no doubt about it. And of course, very affordable. Speaking of affordable, LED lighting, when we talk about quality LED lighting, can be pretty pricey. Will, give us an idea of what you got there for a product line and what those price points are in that display.
Okay, we start with an entry-level LED light called an ML120, and the ML120 retails for around $49.99. And then we go as high as our ML840H, which you see on my left, your right, and that particular one is at $289.99. The great thing about these particular LEDs is they vary from obviously output or power, but they also have some features as you climb in our portfolio with built-in batteries, filter packs that can be added, and of course, controllable lighting with a dimmer switch.
So I know from having these here that we've got the dim capability. It's a nice knob that's on the left side, which is great because if I'm going to one-hand it with the camera here, I can adjust this up and down as I want to. And of course, having the electronic viewfinder on mirrorless cameras is spectacular because I'm using this for a little fill light, a little bump light, and I've had terrific results with them. I also know here that the rechargeable battery inside, of course, is a great idea, and it does last a long time. The only thing that I'm missing, though, buddy, is this is not adjustable color. Any plans to be adding not only adjustable output power, but adjustable color temperature as well?
Right now, the way we are doing the adjustable color is through a filter pack. So in some of the hybrids that we have a full tungsten conversion. We have a diffuser for just diffusing the light. And then we have what is called a quarter tungsten conversion filter. And yes, we are going to expand our portfolio of our lights so that we will get into additional type lights that will have color temperature capabilities in terms of being able to control. And then we also may get into some larger panels as well. So definitely this is our entry level into the LED lights, and we will continue to expand this part of our portfolio as LED becomes more and more popular.
That's great to hear. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about the technical aspects of the color of that light in a second. But as a pro, one of the things that I'm really interested in, and of course the folks on the DP Review Forum were super excited about, is wireless interactivity and connectivity with mirrorless cameras. It's been announced that the GH3 is going to have some pretty significant wireless Wi-Fi capability. Of course, there is ability to take most cameras and put in one of the iFi SD cards, either through an adapter or directly into the SD socket on the camera, and wirelessly move files. But as those pros who use that know, it can be a little slow and a little tricky to deal with. The built-in wireless Wi-Fi functionality of the GH3 has me intrigued. I know that there is an app going to be available soon that will allow me to do some really neat things. Darin, can you tell us quickly on what's the overview of wireless connectivity and Wi-Fi functions of the GH3 that would make a guy like me shooting pro Nikon gear sell that Nikon gear and move over to mirrorless?
Well, yeah, it's true. The GH3 will have a Wi-Fi function. In fact, I don't know if you can see on the top of it, there's a little button that says Wi-Fi, a light that lights up. And it really, there are a couple features that we've introduced in prior cameras that we're taking to the next level. But you've seen a technology we call Lumix Link, which basically allows you to, with an iPhone or an Android-powered phone, link to the camera and remote browse, so you can see from your phone what's on the memory card. You can activate the camera, and if you use one of our power zoom lens technologies, which is also one of our X series lenses, you can zoom the lens, you can control the camera. It can also be utilized as a way to disperse your pictures should you want to send it out to social media streams. So you can preset the application on the phone to send all the to all your whatever streams that you have. In addition to that, it also you can use your phone as a backup source. So as you're taking pictures, you're also backing up your pictures.
That sounds like a really cool set of features that I could see would work for a professional photographer as well as a weekend type of photographer, because one of the nice parts about moving to mirrorless cameras is they really are designed to help you show and share images much, much quicker. One of the things that we are really happy with bringing aboard here is our relationship with other educational websites. Of course, you can see me on shootsmarter.com and discovermirrorless.com, as well as the photo expert guy on GeekBeat TV. But with me now is Frederick Van Johnson, who is one of the best photo educator website guys that I know. He is a pretty solid dude and has been asking his audience at thisweekinphoto.com what they really want to know if they got a chance to ask the Panasonic as well as the Manfrotto guys what's up. So, Frederick, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. First off, Panasonic and Manfrotto, congratulations on these new releases. I'm excited to get my hands on both of them and play around. But I have a question for each of you. The first one is for the Panasonic guys. So it's really exciting. I want to get my hands on this and play with this gear. But my audience wants to know, who are you targeting with these products? Like, for example, there's, this is kind of a two-part question, but, you have the photographers out there that are sort of mired and marinated in the DSLR world, and they have all that gear. And with the new announcements that have come out at Photokina this week with new bodies from your competitors, are you looking to woo those guys over? And if so, who of that crowd are you looking at? Are you thinking that this could be positioned at the wedding shooter, the fashion shooter, the sports shooter, professionals, amateurs? Who's it targeted at?
Well, so yeah, that's quite a range of photographers. There are a lot of disciplines in photography.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah, and our goal really is to give the photographer a new tool. Mm-hmm. So we wouldn't say go out and throw away your old traditional DSLRs, or for that matter, your medium format cameras. But certainly, this camera is small enough that it's a lot smaller than a pro DSLR, a lot easier to carry around. And with all the lenses that are available for it now, it's become a very viable tool. Mm-hmm. So for that photographer that we basically call the hybrid photographer, in other words, a traditional photographer who is looking to add video to the work stream because his client is demanding it, this is the camera that you probably want to have in your tool bag. Whether that's sports, fashion, whether that is a wedding photographer, an event photographer, journalism. For example, photojournalism, we all know, is very fast becoming a video world. Yeah. So with a camera this small, you can record really great video, store it all in the Wi-Fi network, and then while you're recording video, take 2 megapixel snapshots that you can upload to your office. So there are a lot of functionalities that a camera like this is going to bring to what we call the hybrid photographer.
Yeah, and I also think that one of the great things about the format in general is the form factor. We've had professional photographers take these out on shoots, and because it's really relatively compact compared to particularly a professional camcorder or a full-size digital SLR with a large zoom lens, you can comfortably get in front of somebody and not be completely in their face or intimidate them. So they're more likely to open up and be comfortable. In addition, because of the articulating LED, you can also shoot from different angles where you don't have to have it up by your face. You can have it low, shooting at something, and make them more comfortable on camera as well.
Now, from a marketing standpoint, do you guys see that, the whole size perception of you must have a giant camera with a big white lens on it in order to be perceived as a pro, and if you show up with a smaller, more compact camera, even if it is more capable, that people won't, it's just the overall perception issue. People will not perceive you as being capable because you're at a wedding shooting with this thing, and your Uncle Bob has a big camera and he must be a better photographer, and I'm paying you. So how do you combat that perception over size?
Yeah, that's true. That is something that we have gotten feedback from professional photographers all over the world saying, I walked in with your camera, it was the best thing for the job, and I got fired. And well, how do you respond to that? So as a brand and as a company, we're launching a marketing campaign we call Changing Photography, and it is really what Panasonic brings to the table. So both educating consumers, professionals, through magazines, through what we do on the internet. We're going to be talking to people about what this change in photography is all about, and why smaller and lighter can be better.
Yeah.
If you need to pump up the size of your camera, we certainly do have a grip system here. You can add to the bottom of it. Makes it bigger if you need it.
Hey, suddenly you're a professional with the grip on there.
Darin, on that point, it used to be that any wedding photographer worth their salt used a Hasselblad or a Mamiya RB or RZ. Then, as digital came in, photographers said, do I spend 40 grand on a digital back for my Hasselblad, or do I spend $5,000 on a Pro DSLR? They changed to a much smaller camera really quick. So I do hear that a lot about the smaller camera issue. And in fact, over the past weekend, I went anonymously on a meetup.com photo shoot, and I noticed for the first time how different you get treated when I'm in a room full of people shooting DSLRs on tripods, and I just had a GH2 mirrorless camera. There were some people there that looked at me like I was just some sort of tourist, and I thought that was really kind of funny.
Yeah.
And we also think at the end of the day, the images are going to speak for themselves. The videos are going to speak for themselves. So I think as we get more images and results out there, people really understand the benefits of this technology and how good they really can be. And we've partnered with several different professionals, including the likes of Ira Block, who's a National Geographic photographer that's gone out on shoots on our behalf, taken some just amazing photos that night shots you can blow up to ultra large format, and there's virtually no noise in the night sky. Wow. So the images really will speak for themselves, and we believe this will catch on and people accept it.
Cool. I couldn't agree with you more. I think you're right on there. I do think that it's the combination of that really good image quality from a very simple to use system that offers the least amount of resistance between when a photographer has an idea that they want to create an image, then that ability to produce that image and show and share that amount of time and those hurdles that they have to jump through between there is really dampening their creativity, because DSLRs are really difficult to deal with. In one area in particular, now we, as you know, we have a whole bunch of Lumix GH2s here, and when we produce video, which is what we produce mostly here, mostly video than still photo, we're using GH2s on a big scale, outdoors, indoors. I cannot put the autofocus on the GH2s and go shoot big boy HD video, even if I'm talking head into the camera here, because its autofocus just is not trustworthy and not predictable. Please, no offense. I would really like to know, if I move up to the GH3, am I going to have autofocus on video that allows me to do something very simple like this? Then take advantage of some of those really cool functions like autofocus tracking, where we tap on the back screen, the display screen of the camera locks on to a specific item like a dog or a little kid, and then it moves its focus as that kid moves and adjusts things like white balance as well as exposure values on that one specific localized tracking region. How much better is the tracking function and the autofocus in video on the GH3 than any other camera you've done?
Well, Will, you got a point there. It is hard with video to focus. Most cinematographers turn off autofocus. But when it comes to event photography, and let's run the scenario down, let's go into a wedding situation. You need to shoot video, and you need to be fast on your feet, and you need to be able to trust the camera is going to be focusing on what you need it to. So let's say you're at the front of the up by the altar by mom, and her daughter's about to walk down the aisle. You're taking a video of mom close up, and in the background is the bride in autofocus, and you just reach over and touch the bride on your screen, and it track focuses to that and follows that bride down the aisle until they meet their mother or father at the beginning of the aisle. You now have composition capability because you have full aerial autofocus. In other words, you can touch anywhere on that screen, and that's what it's going to follow focus, or that's what it's going to track focus.
Wow.
Whereas right now, shooting video with a traditional DSLR, you really only get 1 point dead center. So your subject cannot move from dead center in most cases.
That's true. It does force you into manual focus, and unfortunately, that leads to putting focus adjustment rings on your lens. So instead of having to grab the lens focus ring, you'll put a lever on the outside and just move the lever, which will allow you to make that plane of focus move back and forth the way you want to. Yeah, that works, and yeah, that is a solution, but for most photographers, particularly, as you mentioned, wedding photographers, that's just not going to happen. So low light function, of course, is got a lot to do with autofocus as well, because we find out in the bright sunshine, autofocus works a heck of a lot better than it does in low light. One of the reasons I moved over to the Lumix system for our mirrorless cameras is their phenomenal low light performance. How much better, Dean, is the low light overall performance when we talk about noise, we talk about low light performance, meaning autofocus, as well as other low light features? How much better is the GH3 than, say, the GH2 or the terrific new G5?
It's hard to quantify, but we've had a new engine designed for this. So it's still a 16 megapixel sensor, but it's a whole new engine with multiple cores, and we've seen great results. I don't know if I can work with our engineering team to get a better quantification of it, but ultimately, again, the pictures are going to speak for themselves. There's some Ira block photos that'll be available on various websites that'll show that low noise performance, or low light, low noise performance at a high ISO that I was blown away by. So I think it's a dramatic improvement from what I've seen in past devices.
We'll be looking forward to seeing those, no doubt. Let's go back over to another low light issue, and that is if we're going to shoot hybrid images under low light, we're going to need to have that little bump, that little fill light. A lot of times that is going to not only give us some exposure, but having that LED light on top of our camera when we're going to shoot photo or video gives us that little bit of fill. It also gives a little extra volume of light for our camera to autofocus on. One of the problems with the low cost LED lights, particularly the off-brand ones or ones you can get on eBay, is that the color, the true color of those lights is bad. I've noticed, because I'm one of those guys that has a color meter, that when we test some of those lower cost LEDs, we put a color meter in front of them, we see a pretty significant magenta green shift, and that magenta green shift changes as we adjust the color temperature on some of the color temperature adjustable lights. I'm counting on Manfrotto to create a quality product. And Will, what is the color temperature, the effective color temperature, and does it shift on your line of LEDs?
No, the great thing is all of our LEDs are rated at 5600 degree Kelvin. It doesn't matter what setting you have them on. If you dim the light, if you have the light on full brightness, it really doesn't matter. They will stay at 5600 degrees Kelvin in that range. And that's the important part with LEDs, is you want to make sure you have that consistency so that when you are taking a number of shots, it just makes life that much more easier when you need to do any type of color correction. Or if you're correcting, say, from the front of the video to the back of the video, you have consistent, good color all the way through. And that's what you want to make sure you have. And again, it doesn't matter any setting that you happen to have the light at.
Right on. One of the other reasons we like mirrorless cameras and their performance from multiple brands is the fact that using them, because they have sophisticated auto white balance systems, for instance, they reduce post-processing time. And it is quicker for me to get those photos and those videos to the client or out to my family if I'm just sharing images, because the mirrorless has those advantages. Now, they also have an advantage of being small. And we have a little phrase where we say travel small, shoot big. Another photographer who's adopted that whole saying is Giulio Sciorio from the website smallcamerabigpicture.com. He has been shooting Olympus cameras for a long time in the mirrorless realm and has hundreds, if not thousands, of really terrific images. Giulio, welcome to our program.
I'm super excited about the GH3, as I think a lot of people are. You know, it's when you kind of see it, you know, when you see it there on the screen and you read about what it does, it's pretty impressive. A lot of my fans on small camera big picture are really big into video, and probably the thing that are asking me the most is you know, about focus peaking and clean uncompressed video through the HDMI signal with the GH3. Can you guys tell me a little how that works?
So yeah, you've probably, a lot of people have heard about focus peaking. Focus peaking is very similar technology to that overexposure flash that you see on the back of your LCD. Right now, I don't believe we have focus peaking in it. It wasn't originally part of the design. And there was one other technology you were asking about. Sorry, I missed.
Clean uncompressed video through HDMI. So if you want to hook up like a hard drive recorder and just get like a 422 video ProRes, is that possible?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it does have a second an HDMI port on it that is live. So something we call director mode. So if the client is wishing to see what you're photographing, you can hook up a TV monitor to that, or you can also, through the Wi-Fi connection, give them their iPhone so they can watch what you're doing. But as far as the video output through the HDMI, whether it's compressed or uncompressed, we don't have an official statistic on it. I do know that the goal is to produce as clean a possible signal coming out of that. So when the product ships in November, we'll know a little bit more about what it's actually going to do. But we do know people that hook up, like for example, the Ninja, which is a device that is an external recorder. It's used quite a bit by cinematographers, and it produces different file formats that are not available in the camera. Originally, that was because of the GH2. A lot of people wanted to be able to record in ProRes. So you should be able to do that. As to exactly how clean it is, I'll wait to see.
Okay, cool. In what ways is Panasonic going to allow third-party app developers to expand the GH3 either through apps or run directly on the camera or through like a Wi-Fi connection?
So through Wi-Fi connections, we don't have an SDK kit that's going to be handed out to developers right now for this camera. So if they do develop it, it would likely be on their own. Certainly, I think the GH2 is probably one of the most hacked cameras out there. And I anticipate all those tweakers to try. I don't think there's anything we can do to completely stop it, but certainly the second it ships out, I imagine a few guys will grab them off the shelf and start immediately trying.
Let me bust in there. Darin's referring to hacking the camera. So literally you can jump into the camera's firmware and software inside and break it open. And what that does is that takes the restrictions off of some of the capabilities that this camera has. Now, in my opinion, Panasonic's put these restrictions on there for a pretty good reason, whether it's balancing battery consumption power or allocating the internal processor to do its tasks correctly. All the GH2s that we have, and in fact, all the Lumix cameras we have, we do not do any of the hacking stuff. I have seen hacked GH2s, and the video under the certain circumstances is better. I don't know, significantly better, but it is better. Now, Darin is referring to, is the GH3 going to get hacked? Well, of course, there's always people that are going to take something to think that they can do a better job souping it up. So, Giulio, excellent questions, and thank you for dressing up. That was really nice of you.
Hey, Will, I must say, just for the record, we don't officially recommend or support hacking of our cameras, but I know people have had some pretty good results with it.
There you go. Wow, thank you for saying that. Wow, good for you. Yes, I'm not interested in hacking there either. I got enough stuff to do. It's my opinion that LED lighting is the future of photography. And one of the hurdles that photographers face when they're moving from DSLR universe with a flash to mirrorless with no flash, not that you can't have flash, you certainly can, but remember there is no flash in video, is that hurdle is the LED light itself. And as we discussed, there are some quality issues there, but imagine when we move forward into the future, wouldn't it be great to be able to go out on an event with an LED light that works both on the camera, slide it off, and it will work off the camera in photo and video. Then take that LED light and maybe combine it with other ones, snap them together to make a studio light. Or when you get back to the studio, you'll have your LED lights. Will, how far away are we in the future of having both still photographers and video photographers get rid of flash altogether and move to LED with different size, shapes, and light modifiers?
I don't think, LED is going to necessarily replace flash. I think Darin and Dean, on their talk of the cameras, it's another tool. And that's the way I look at LED lighting as well. LED lighting has its place. It's a great tool. It can give you a lot of flexibility. Right now, under the recording right now, we're under LED lights as we're talking to everybody. And the great thing is LED lights are a great tool that can give you effects you want by simply adding some filters. Are they going to replace a flash? No, I don't think so. Flash is another type of tool out there that can be used, and the same thing with LED. You can use it as a tool. You can brighten it. You can dim it. As you said, you can take it off. You can hold it to the side of your subject. If you want, you can take it, and then you can also stack it onto a unit, so you can have 2 units there. And if you need a bit more power, you have it. If you need less power, you can dim it. And again, use it to create different effects. And I think that's the beauty of any type of tool that you use. And LEDs is just another possibility of being able to do that.
Oh, by the way, Will, you're dead wrong. LED is going to replace all kinds of flash. I know that you're trying to sell flashes there too, but if I was there, I'd ruffle your head right there. Darin, one of the things that you mentioned was the ability for the GH3 to shoot video and still photos at the same time. How big is that JPEG when you're shooting video?
Well, right now, as you're shooting video at the full resolution of the 1080p, for example, you can snapshot a 2-megapixel file. Now, that's not a lot. It's probably not going to be the primary image, but there are times when you're shooting video, you just need a snapshot for the portfolio. And let's face it, a lot of people these days, they want their wedding albums, their events, everything online. 2 megapixels is well enough for that.
Couldn't agree more. Guys, this has been a terrific educational experience for all of us. I want to thank you very much for not only giving us the straight answers, but showing us what we've got to look forward to as the future of hybrid photography comes right at us. We see more and more of our corporate clients, as well as just moms down the street here, are showing and sharing electronic images on their iPhones and their tablets and, of course, Facebook pages. And we're seeing this hybrid imaging open up all kinds of new doors for our professional photographers. Sure, it's true that anybody can go to Costco and buy a really good low-end DSLR kit, hop out and go shoot a wedding with it, literally from the parking lot of the store to the church. Well, the creativity and the ability for a true imaging professional to create hybrid images is what's going to separate that photographer from everyone else. And for that non-professional photographer, when you want people to take notice of your images and you show them still photos that move in some sort of slideshow, and you show them video blended with still photos, take a look at the impact that has and explore the ways that it will expand your creativity. I'd like to thank Will Holowka from Manfrotto for his time. Thank you, Will.
Thank you. Good to see you.
You too. And of course, the good guys over at Panasonic, Darin and Dean. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Will.
It's our pleasure.
And Giulio Sciorio down in Miami, you lucky dog. At least we have nice weather in Chicago. Thanks, pal.
Right on, man.
And Frederick from thisweekinphoto.com. I couldn't appreciate it more. From the Shoot Smarter, Discover Mirrorless headquarters in Chicago, my name's Will Crockett, saying keep in touch with hybrid imaging through our video series called The Smarter Photographer that will be released later this week, and lots of free info on this and other topics on discovermirrorless.com. We will catch you next time. Thanks again, fellas. The Smarter Photographer is looking to grow as an image maker, constantly improving their imaging process. Sees every phone, frame, tablet, and computer screen as a great place to put pictures. Still a little nervous about all this video stuff, but it's okay, we'll help you. The Smarter Photographer is a new video series presented by 22 super talented photographers and 2 that are maybe not so talented. Oh, and my dog. The Smarter Photographer is focused on the smarter ways of shooting, shaping, showing, sharing, and even selling your photo, video, and audio files through the web, prints, phones, Facebook, iPads, computer screens, and much more as we move into the hybrid imaging era. The Smarter Photographer is $25 on DVD or stream to any screen at any time. Each volume covers the latest, greatest ideas and simple solutions in photography. Volume 1 features fresh info on choosing and using online gallery systems instead of plain old websites. Lynette Kent's top 10 reasons why we should probably all be using Lightroom 4. Photographer Giulio Sciorio shares the imaging secrets in the hybrid hot seat segment. Should you be thinking about replacing your DSLR with a mirrorless camera, we'll introduce you to our recent results on using LED lighting instead of flash for event photography, and plenty more. The Smarter Photographer is guaranteed good. If you watch it and you don't think you got your 25 bucks worth, just email our customer service and pick out any of our 72 different other videos, even the $39 ones. The future photography is hybrid, less fuss and more fun.